This is The Top, where I interview entrepreneurs who are number one or number two in their industry in terms of revenue or customer base. You'll learn how much revenue they're making, what their marketing funnel looks like, and how many customers they have.
I'm now at $20,000 per talk.
5 and 6 million.
He is hell-bent on global domination.
We just broke our 100,000 unit sold mark.
And I'm your host, Nathan Latka.
Okay, Top Tribe, this week's winner of the $100 is Jose Avila. He is a 17-year-old that doesn't want to go to college and he wants to start his own business. For your chance to win $100 just like Jose every Monday morning, simply subscribe to this podcast on iTunes right now and then text the word Nathan to 33444 to prove that you did it. Guys, if you want an easy tool to use to book your meetings back to back, to batch your calls, to make sure people actually show up when they schedule, you want to use Acuity Scheduling. It's what I use for all my podcast interviews at nathanlatka.com/schedule. I'll tell you more about how I use it later on in the episode. Nathan Latka here. Today is episode 573, and coming up tomorrow morning, you're going to learn from Luke Stronach. He breaks us through buying a $2 million 600-acre pecan farm and how he makes $450 per acre per month, literally shaking money from pecan trees. Good morning, folks. Nathan Latka here. Our guest today is Sean Moss-Pultz. He is the CEO and founder of BitMark. It's the property system for the digital environment. It enables individuals to claim ownership over personal data and digital assets, akin to how land registrars track land titles or patent offices track patents. Sean, are you ready to take us to the top?
I'm ready.
All right. Tell us what BitMark does and what's your business model. How do you generate revenue?
Sure. So we are a registrar. So anybody that has data, it can be anything from a photograph to health data coming out of a Fitbit, would be able to establish ownership to that and then quickly and easily list it for sale or just protect it if that's all they want to do. So the business model is a small commission on each sale, sort of like a exchange marketplace type model.
Okay, so give me a real example. I'm wearing a Fitbit right now. I just went on a jog. I have that data. First off, how do I actually, it feels like it's hard for me to actually hold that data in my hand. How do I hold that data in my hand somewhere?
Well, first off, the data is in your phone. It's in different devices that you have. And you're right, it's very hard to get this out. The whole kind of promise of IoT would be that these sorts of devices would make our lives easier, no more data. But the truth is the data is trapped in there. And there's a lot of people that would love to have access to that data, that would pay you to use that data. Maybe they're researchers, they need to use it for, looking at sleep pattern studies. Maybe they're advertisers who are interested in location data for certain demographics over certain regions. Right now, we're giving all this away for free. We don't have property rights over that data. And so we think that you should be able to protect your data the same way you can protect your home or your car or things you own. And B, for people that would like a passive income, property is like the definitive passive income.
And what is so Sean, take me in and actually give me an example of me using BitMark. I just finished my run. I want to make money off my run data. I want to sell it. How do I use you to do it?
Right on. So you would use our software. You would download our free software. You would
Where is that? BitMark.com?
BitMark.com.
Where's the download link? I don't see it.
We'll have a private beta the end of this month.
Got it. Okay, got it.
Public beta next month.
So it's a piece. So I would download this data. What is it? Yes. Is it actual? It goes down to it's hardware on my desktop or like desktop software or what?
Desktop software. Our mobile software is coming in March, and that software. We work with IFT, if you've heard of them, If This Then That.
Yep.
Cool. So you can think of it as anything that you can get access to over IFT. So the playlists that you like on Spotify, the sleep data you have, in your phone, the location data you have on your phone, and you can set up rules that data would be automatically bitmarked. And when it's bitmarked, a copy of it is recorded on your computer. The ownership rights to that are publicly declared that these are yours. And now you're able to create individual instances, individual properties, digital properties that can be transferred and sold. And so once you create these properties, let's say I want to make 10 copies of my data, of the run data, then each of those would be individually transferable, individually sellable. So our software would generate a link which you could then share over social media, your website. Somebody would be able to purchase your data using a credit card, paying for Bitcoin if they like, and then their system would connect into your system. It's a peer-to-peer transfer, and the property would then be transferred to their system. The ownership record, kind of like when you buy a car, you have to go to the DMV, they update that title. Our system would update the ownership record to the new owner. And now that particular method of being able to have that title where you can trace the chain of title, that method is what allows you to establish ownership over your data.
How much money can I make by selling my run data?
So I know location data in the US is worth around $50 a year. If you're a celebrity, it's worth a heck of a lot more.
Wait, what does that mean though? Is that $50 a year for Adidas to pay to get access to all of my running data? Or is it like all of my data captured on my phone, Adidas pays $50 a year for?
Oh no, that would just be location data itself. I think actually that the more specific you get, so the more clear it is what this data was, how it was generated, is it authentic or not, the higher the value becomes. Our thesis, if you will, is that data is the next big asset class. Right now, it's only valuable on the big data side, on the businesses side, but the individual has no property rights to their data. And so the moment you can assign property rights is the moment you can have markets.
Is this legal?
Right? So you don't have secondary.
Can I protect? Yeah. Can I sue somebody? Like, does the government recognize this? Like, if someone stole my run data and I want to protect it, and it was via BitMark, could I use like your registry and your formal documents to battle that case in court and win?
So from the earliest days, we worked with lawyers to talk about this. My dad is a lawyer that does estate planning.
Okay.
And a lot of these ideas came out of the fact that you can't take your iTunes library or your Kindle ebook library and transfer it to your son. That was my personal problem. And so I was looking into property law, how property law works, how the government interacts with individual private property. And the interesting thing here is that governments will enforce private contracts. And so as long as there is intent, as long as both parties agree to a transaction, it was recorded, it was time stamped, that's definitely an enforceable event. And so there has not been a court case of somebody suing, let's say Facebook, for example, for selling the data to somebody that was not part of the terms. But we think that the court system will completely understand how to treat digital property titles the same way that in the physical world, if you sell me your car and then you go back and steal it from me, I can definitely get you.
Yeah, no, I got it. It's very difficult to do this with things you can't see, and that's what you're trying to solve. I think I get it.
Yeah, but let me kind of push back on that a little bit. So, like the history of ownership goes originally from land, right? And that was the original property. But then it came into intellectual property. And intellectual property, we sort of kind of retrofitted a system that more or less works for for things like patents, trademarks. Exactly. And those are all intangible goods. So the court knows how to deal with stuff that is, infinitely copyable. The whole world can use it. They have systems in place to do this. It's just nobody's looked at this and said, hey, wait a second, data is also something that the individual should have rights to, that should be able to protect.
Yeah, it makes good sense. I mean, walk me through. This is fascinating to me. That's why I wanted to talk to you. I was interested in this, specifically the product, but I'm curious business history.
Okay.
What year did you launch the business in?
So we launched it 2014.
Okay. Who's we?
So I had, when we started, we were 3 people. Before this, I had a business before that was making an open source mobile phone. So this was sort of some of my best guys from my previous company.
What happened in that previous company?
It was a good idea, wrong time, bad execution.
How much money did you waste on it? Hopefully it's big. That'll be a better story.
I think in total about $6.5 million. So
that's pretty good. That's a nice explosion.
To me, it's pretty big. Yeah.
Did you guys raise capital on that?
It was from it was private money. It was angel money. It was so that was, we did both hardware and software, and so it's just very expensive doing
it's
hardware.
Hard, man. Yeah. So now you turn around and you go, hey, well, first off, have you raised money for BitMark?
We did. Yes, we just closed a seed round.
How much?
1.7.
Yeah. So it's easy. You go to all these angels for BitMark. You say, listen, I have a degree in business that I basically blew through $6 million. Anyone else you invest in, they're going to have to blow through $6 million of their own money first before they get to as good as I am. So put 1.7 in me, right? That's how you spin the shit out of that.
Well, that wasn't exactly my pitch, but you're probably right.
All right. So you did 1.7 million. Was that a convertible note or equity?
No, so that was actually really great. So our goal was 1 million. We're based in Taiwan, so my cost structure is really low.
Oh, wow. 1
million would have got us 18 months. Right now we're 12 people. And so the lead investor was a guy named Matt from Cherubic. That's a really awesome, like up and coming VC. They do a lot of early stage. They want to be really, really early. We raised money from WI Harper, which is a VC based in Taiwan that has offices in San Francisco and Beijing. And then we also raised money from Digital Currency Group. Those guys are like...
Who led, though?
Cherubic. Matt from Cherubic.
And was it a convertible note or an equity round?
No, this was all priced.
Oh, it was all priced. Okay, great.
It was all priced. We priced it at pre-8 million.
That's great. So pre-money was 8 million. Post-money is 9.7.
You got it.
Pre-revenue?
Yes, pre-product essentially.
Yeah, so you didn't do any revenue in 2016. Do you think you'll do any revenue in this year, 2017?
I sure hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely we're going to get the product to market, right? And always the fear is you make something and people just don't care. Like it's not that it doesn't work or it breaks, whatever. It's that people just don't care. So that's of course what keeps up at night.
Did I hear you say that 1 million would have lasted you 18 months and your current team size is 20 people?
We're 12 people.
12 people.
But, yes.
Dude, that's incredible. Wait, so 1 million over 18 months, what is that? That's like 55 grand a month divided by right. 12 people? Yeah. That's about 4.6 grand per month if that's all going to salaries. I mean, you have some amazing cost structure advantages.
Yeah, so actually about 10,000 of that each month is my travel. So I spend 1 week in the US, Silicon Valley, San Francisco, New York, kind of alternating between those cities, and 3 weeks in Taiwan. And so and then I'm traveling a lot like throughout sort of greater China, Singapore.
There's 45 grand per month then that you use to pay for the salaries of 12 people. That's great.
We're hunkering down. Like we're in this for the long run.
That's great. Yes, you've got about like 26 months of runway in the bank right now?
Well, we will accelerate it a bit. I'm bringing on some help on the marketing, sales side, business development, as we bring the product out. So the product, we will launch both in Asia and in the US, trying to use like our position as a competitive advantage of being able to address both markets.
Yeah.
But in the US, it's just expensive, and so
Sean,
I
would love to like in 7 or 8 months release a big story. It says Nathan Latka makes $1 million selling, which is like a little. I mean, it's not life changing for me anymore, but $1 million, right? Selling his personal data using BitMark.
Yes,
right? That would be like an amazing story. Do you help me find buyers for my data, or do I have to do that? You just help me store my personal data for sale.
So if you have a financial background, initially we're thinking about it as an OTC deal, so like an over-the-counter deal. So we are actively recruiting buyers who would be interested in certain types of health data. Health is our first focus because I feel that you have both a financial benefit to that. And it's also like let's say I donate my kidney, right? Well, I can save one person, but if I donate health data that then is used by a research study, I can save or not safe, but I can benefit like all of humanity for the entire future. I mean, that might sound a bit over the top, but that's truly what we believe, is that this data is locked in devices and it has phenomenal value.
I mean, I believe like if Wealthfront or Betterment, are you familiar with those guys?
Yes.
Like I bet, I have no, first off, I live everything on social media. I don't care. Nothing in my life is actually private, so I don't really care. I would sell my personal financial data to a company, like every transaction I put on every credit card to, the Amex group, right, for their credit card research, or to Wealthfront, or to Mint, or to QuickBooks, or to, I imagine they'd pay a lot of money for that kind of data.
So Nathan, they pay a crap load of money for that data. And when I spoke with IFT early on, we've had a really great kind of time working with them. And they told me to look at location data, health data, fitness data, and the third one was the financial data. They say financial data is a really, really interesting thing. It's very valuable. There's lots of buyers. There's lots of information that.
So Sean, I'll make a deal with you.
Yeah.
Go. It's really hard, I imagine, for you to find someone like me that's just willing to say, you know what, you can have access to all my bank accounts.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
With a shit ton of contracts and stuff. I want to be that guy for you. Go sell my financial data to someone.
Seriously?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll do it. And then you're going to come back on and we're going to do a big story on it. I'll be your first customer.
I would love that. This sounds awesome.
The hardest part is done. You've already convinced me to give access to all my financial data. That's the hardest part.
Okay. All right, we do it.
All right.
Nathan's financial data.
Guys, I get asked all the time, Nathan, you host all these interviews, hundreds of them per month. How do you do them efficiently? And guys, the answer is simple. People always agree to my calendar, back-to-back meetings. I batch my interviews to stay very efficient. And the way that I do it is I use a tool called Acuity Scheduling at nathanlatka.com/schedule. And the reason I use them is very simple. They keep my no-show rate very low because they send out reminders about when the interview or the meeting is coming up. And also, they make it very easy to schedule time, right? I don't have to go back and forth via email 10,000 times with people I'm trying to meet with. Okay, at nathanlatka.com/schedule. It helps me so much. And by the way, look, I have so many meetings. I'm the best at meetings. Okay, I do them back to back, very, very efficient. You guys know me. Many people say I'm the most efficient they've ever seen. Okay, so I use the tool. It's so efficient. And by the way, I got Gavin. I said, Gavin, he's the CEO. I said, I want a great deal for my people. He said, Nathan, well, most people get a 14-day trial. Isn't that great? I said, no. He's given us a 45-day free trial at nathanlatka.com/schedule. That's not going to stay up forever. So go get it now. nathanlatka.com/schedule. There you go, Sean. All right, dude. I'm wishing you guys luck. Let's wrap this up with a famous five. Number one, what's your favorite business book?
Definitely Andy Grove, High Output Management.
Number two, is there a CEO you're following or studying right now?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, I always liked Andy Grove because he was sort of the engineer, academic, fiercest business manager there ever was. I was reading Ben Horowitz' Hard Thing About Hard Things bit ago and really loved that. So, but the person who's, who I would call my hero is Yvon Chouinard, the founder of Patagonia. He's not CEO anymore, but he's the guy I sort of steer my company towards and look up to.
Number three, is there a favorite online tool you have, like TopTal?
Slack? I mean, does that count?
That counts, yeah. Number four, yes or no? Do you get 8 hours of sleep every night?
No.
And what's your situation? Married, single? Do you have kids?
So married with one kid who's 3.
Wow.
A boy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So young kid, growing a family.
Yes.
We're launching a startup. How old are you?
I'm 37 now.
Okay. So last question. Take us back 17 years. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew, Sean?
What do I wish I knew at 20?
Yeah.
That luck plays a big role and you just can't quit.
Top Tribe, there you have it. Luck plays a big role. You just can't quit, from BitMark founder Sean. Again, he's working with If This, Then That, trying to figure out how to help consumers, people like me, sell and first off own, and then legally own, and then turn around and sell any data that I want, whether it's run data, gym data, anything like that. He had a royal explosion on his first company, which is just beautiful, burned the hell out of $6 million plus. Now it's expensive education. Now he's raised $1.7 million at an $8 million pre-money valuation for BitMark. So post money, $9.7 million. He's got about 26 months of runway with his team of 18 based overseas. Sean, thank you for taking us to the top.
Thank you so much, Nathan.
If you enjoyed Sean today, go back and listen to Phil Town yesterday. Phil and I debate in depth about all kinds of financial investing. But Phil's really the expert. He's sold over 400,000 books, and he teaches folks how to go from $1,000 to 1.5 million like he did. Top Tribe, I love giving away free money. I feel like Oprah giving away cars, and I have something special for you today. How many of you have heard our super sharp guests talk about success they've had with Facebook and Google ads? Well, all of you listening right now, yes, if you're listening, you get $100 in free AdWords. Here's how you get it, okay? Again, thanks for listening. Get the free $100 from Google, right, when you sign up with my website host provider, HostGator. Go sign up now to get your free money. HostGator.com/Nathan. Again, that's HostGator.com/Nathan. Okay, Top Tribe, I'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning. And don't forget, before you listen to any other episodes, subscribe on iTunes right now for your chance to win $100 every Monday.